So like we tried to load, we connected to the database, ODBC data connection. We extracted the sales order header table. We extracted couple of them, sales order territory also. You can extract them, and customer data also. So we also looked at how we could bring in preceding load and make few transformations. So generally when you're doing extraction from the database to, so if you remember our architecture, from database to QED, from QED to QEW data model, from data model to application. Now when you're doing the extraction right the first time, generally we don't the advice is not to do any transformations. Make sure that you bring only one-to-one data out of the database. So just to demonstrate that there is a possibility of doing transformation, I showed the preceding load. So this is the preceding load basically. Now what we'll have to do is we'll have to, now once the data is extracted, like this is the extractor file, it has to store the data into QEDs. Now only we are extracting. For storing the data into QED, what we'll have to do is use the sale order header. Okay, I'll take off this preceding load, not required. We name these tables, right? So this is the way to name the table. So I have this sales order header. I'll put this table. I've applied the name as sales order header. Now I'll use this name. I'll say store sales order header into sales order header.qed. So this is my store command basically. What I do is I take this table, I store it into the sales order header.qed. The same is for territory too. So I can do it for everything. So the statement is same. You'll have to do it individually for all the tables. You can't do it at once for all the tables. So the syntax is basically a little manual work is there. You'll have to write the syntax for all the tables one by one. So you update this, you update this. Once you save this, reload it. Now if I go back to my folder, so the extractor folder, right? So if you look at it, sales territory ID, sales order header, customer QED. All the three QEDs are created. So we have three QEDs created. Right. But now this is the AdventureWorks extractor folder. The QEDs are created here. We have to make sure that QEDs will be created under the QED folder. So we'll have to specify the path. Now like I said, we will not use the hard-coded C drive path. Like we'll not update the entire path so that in future when I move this folder, it shouldn't cause any trouble to me. So for that what we'll do is we'll use the relative paths. Now what is a relative path? A relative path is like I'm in extractor folder. If I have to go to the QED folder, I'll go one step back, AdventureWorks, and then I'll go to the QED folder. So if I have to go back to the extractor folder, one step back, extractor. So that's the relation between extractor and QED, right? QED folder. The relation, that's why it's called as a relative path. So basically, it's like if I have to go to the main folder, so I go two steps back, AdventureWorks, section access. So I'm following two steps back, so that takes me to the main folder. So that's how the relative path works. Now that's why what we'll do is we will define the relative path. Now this file is in, if I don't mention any path, by default it is the same path as the file extractor file which is saved. So for that what I'll do is I'll have to define the relation. So generally you define the relation as when you want to go one step back, so you use double quote, like you use two dots and a slash will take you one step back. It will take you to the previous folder. Then you make the new selection as QED. Then you go to the QED folder and save this QED. So that's what this statement means. So it will say one step back, then QED folder, then save this file. So that's what this relation. Now, no matter which computer I move into, this entire folder, right, it will always go one step back, check for the QED folder. If it is available, it will save the QED file. So now once I'm done with this, let me reload this. So if you look at it here, in my QED folder, all the 3 QEDs are created. So it's like coming back one step and doing it. Now over here I don't need these QEDs in this folder, so I'll go ahead and delete it. So this backup files also I don't need. So my extractor is just blank. It's just to extract. It will run, it will extract the file. It will not save it in this folder. Like I said, it will keep replacing the existing files in the QED folder. So whenever you reload, right, so the existing QEDs get replaced. They don't get incremental though. It's like incremental logic is different, but over here the existing QEDs, the overall QEDs will be created again and the old QEDs will be replaced by new QEDs. So that's what it does. Now in extractor, right, in a file, like I said, extractor file, so it will have no UI, it should have no data, it should just be only script. It should be only script. Now the typical property of a QlikView file is whenever you load data into it, it will contain data. So if you look at the preview, this table, it has data in it. So we should make sure that this extractor file should not have any data in it. So if you look at it after loading extractor, it has the data. That's why the size is 3000 KB because data is present in this file. For that given reason that we don't have to have data in this, what we do is once we extract a particular table, extract it from the database, store it to a QED, we will drop this table. So we will drop the table from the file. So we can just say drop table sales order header. Right. So this is a simple statement, drop table sales order header. What it will do is it will connect to the database, extract this sales territory, store it in QED, drop the table. Because we don't need this anymore in our in the QlikView file, right? Because this is just an script file, just an extractor file. So save it, reload it. Now if you see the table is empty because there is no data, the backend is empty, there is no data. And if you look at the size of the file, right, so let me just save this. So the size, okay, the versions is creating because of the backups. So if you look at the size of the file from 3000 KB, it became 143 KB. So this 143 KB is only the script in the file. So it will not update or have anything else in this file. So that's what this says. You are following with me? Okay. So maybe we'll have a discussion separately on that. So we're trying to start off with the basics of how to work in QlikView, how to connect to various data sources, store and all. And then probably we'll look at, we'll start when we are starting off data modeling. So we'll have a brief discussion about what you're looking at and how QlikView has this. So we're yet to reach that stage. So right now we are discussing how various architectures in QlikView and how to extract data, store it in QEDs, and then how do we load it into QlikView. So maybe you could start following this. I mean, like look at those previous 2 videos and see if you have any doubts, you can ask me. And about the modeling, so when we start data modeling, we can have a discussion and we can work out on it. Alright, so like Alpana and Santosh, do you have any questions or anything?
Yeah, I have a question. Like we were selecting data and storing, giving a local name to the table, right? So it was not storing in QVD. It was storing in memory of that QVW.
No, it was doing both. It was storing it in QED also. It was storing it the memory of the or in the QEW file. So the file QEW, the property of the file is when it loads data, right, it will have data in it. It will store data in it. That's why it was having data about the sites. Now what we did was, we just, right now we made sure it stores, and after that we try to drop that whole thing so that we don't carry the data into this QlikView file.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, initially what we were loading was not stored as QED. I am getting a bit like, we have to, if we are creating QED, it has to be separate. Like, now what example you are showing is sales order. No. Yeah.
Sorry.
Now you have selected the data from sales order header and created a local table name as sales data or order header, right? So that is stored as QED, or what we are storing here with the store function, we are that is QED. I got it, that is QED, but the thing is, what about the data what we have stored as sales order header?
Okay, we are not storing it as a sales order header while we are reading it, right? So while it is runtime, when we are reading the data into this QEW file, we are assigning it the name as sales order header. This doesn't mean that it goes and stores into a table, unless and until you, like, only this statement stores it into QED. This statement just reads the data and assigns the table name as sales order header. This will not store the data.
Yeah, it reads the data. It reads the data, but it holds the information also. Like what I know about, like, it also holds the data. So it will be in the memory what QEW is being created in that. It will not be as QED. Okay. Thank you.
Right, it won't be a QED. That's why what we are doing is, this QEW file is an extractor. We don't want this to hold the data, so we are dropping it after we store it to QED. So we load it into QEW. The QEW will have the data, store it to QED, and drop the table from the file or the memory. Then there is this product. Okay, so you're clear with the concept, right? Okay, similarly, we'll have to get a couple of more tables. So I'm just thinking we'll get some more tables over here. So we got the sales order header. We'll get the sales order detail too.
Sorry, hello?
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? I didn't know that
Hello?
I actually ask a question. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So I'm just curious, like, extract that QVW file. So it's like it's a script. So it's like ETL tool. It's ETL package. You what you're trying to do is try to separate from actual.
Right. So this file is an extractor file. So QlikView QEW file is the main.
Yeah, it's a file.
So if you it's the main file. So you use the QEW first to create an extractor whole package where you connect to database, extract the tables and store it to QEDs, and then you upload this QEDs into, you use it for your modeling, data modeling. So it works similar to the data warehousing concept itself. You extract from the source, you store it to QEDs. From the QEDs, you load it to the application. Now in this QED level, you can do multiple transformations. So actually, if you look at the previous video, right? If you go through the previous video, I think we went through this for like an hour or so. You'll have a more understanding of this entire architecture.
Actually, I didn't watch the, but so it's like you create this extract QVW file first. The later on, you create another QVW file to design the all these reports and stuff. Is it?
Exactly.
Okay.
So you'll have multiple levels of QED. One QEW as extractor, one QEW as transformation file.
I see. Schedule. Okay, down there. Yes.
One QEW, one QEW for data model, and one QEW for the UI application.
That's exactly what I do. Yeah, that's exactly what I do. Right. The SSIS. Okay, I see. I see the concept. Yeah.
And we are working on this file as of now.
Okay.
So we are working on this file.
Yeah, I get it.
The extractor file.
Okay.
So now we are trying to get few more tables for our analysis so that we can work on some good analysis. So we'll get this product. So this has a product. And this has a bit of manual work to make sure these labels and this is the only thing that you will end up doing. Apart from it, the script more or less is generated by clicking on it, right? If you look at it. So say this territory customer, and the customer we would need few more names. So if you look at it,
you
all
have
this
right
is
now
still
the full
working at
extractor. Later on, so in the future you are going to incremental loading, and so you are going to do incremental loading in the future. So now you are doing full extract right now.
Yes, we're just doing the full extraction. So we have the sales person. Now we have got a bunch of tables. Now let's see this. So if you look at it, it's connected to the database. It's extracting all the tables, and our tables will be stored in the QED. So all the QEDs are stored over here. Header, detail, product, person, territory, special offer, customer, all the tables that we extracted. So this is the basic extraction methodology and storage. Now if you look at it, all of these are working in one string. That is the ODBC connection that we are using. Now, like I said, QlikView can connect to various sources. There's no limitation as that it has to be separate files. So in one file itself, you can make multiple connections. So what happens is, now you have this ODBC connection over here. Whatever script following this ODBC connection string will use this connection. Suppose this salesperson is the end of it. Now add a new tab. So I'll say HR data. I'll say human resources data. For this, maybe I have to connect to a different database logically, maybe a ODBC only. So I can do a different connect and extract the tables and run it. So I can create a second string. To test it, I'll use the same connection again. So it's just that I can replace this with any other connection string and then load the data. So there's no limitation that, okay, you have to put the connection strings all in one place or do anything. So you can add as many as connection strings you want and you can work with it. So the second type of connection string is the OLEDB. So the ODBC and OLEDB are similar, almost, but they say that OLEDB is a little enhanced version of ODBC, and the latest, like a lot of people recommend OLEDB. And the best part of OLEDB is you don't need to create the system DSN or user DSN. You just have to click on OLEDB, say connect. Over here, it will, like if you remember while doing the system DSN, we had to choose the driver and all. Over here, it will just give you the direct option. So you'll have to pick the driver, SQL Server Native Client, say next. It will ask for the server name. So you'll have to give the server name, which I don't remember. So we'll just get the server name. OLEDB is just direct connectivity. You don't need the system DSN. So that's why a lot of people prefer that. System DSN is like very local to a particular machine. So I have this. I'll go ahead update it over here, the server name. Now on the, like I said, it can be Windows. For me, it is integrated security. For you, you might use a separate username or password, or you might want to select, like the next step is select the database. Over here, the select database is AdventureWorks, so I'll select that. Test connection is successful. I'll just say OK. So what QlikView does is it creates a separate OLEDB string. So now if you look at it, the string is a little longer than the ODBC connection. Right. Now once this is done, the same process. Only the connection method or the connectivity will be different. After that, selecting tables will be same for any database. Even if you take SAP, right? So it will be the same.